Hey, what is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, we're going to be talking about Eagle McMahon. Now, in my opinion, Eagle McMahon will be leaving Discmania, and I think the front runner to sign Eagle McMahon is going to be Latitude 64. So what I've done is put together a mock in the bag for Eagle McMahon, and before Simon left Discmania and went to MVP, I did the same thing for Simon Lizotte. And early on, I had a lot of the discs correct, but now I basically have his entire bag wrong. So at first, it was pretty accurate, and then after a couple months, this my Lizotte in the bag is pretty much terrible. But there was a lot of opinions about this video. A lot of people agreed he was going to MVP, and then there were some people who were just like absolute haters who were calling me out, saying that there was no way Simon would ever go to MVP. And now look at us now. It's fun to look back and see, what we thought was going on and then what actually happened. So I was right. He was going to MVP, but I was wrong, and most of the discs I chose for him were wrong. So anyway, just to set the stage of this is something that I like to do once in a while, is do these theoretical in the bags during the off season. We're going to start all the way with the putters and then work our way all the way up to the distance drivers, basically just going by speed. So the first putter that I think Eagle would really enjoy will be his putting putter. We've got the Maiden here. The Maiden is a very low profile, very glidey, more on the understable side for putters, but I think Eagle would really enjoy the low profile feel in comparison to the amount of glide that it has. Again, it's very glidey, it's very comfortable in the hand, and it's very low profile. Obviously, I don't think he would use a glow version of the disc unless they had a baseline glow. The next disc will be Eagle's first throwing putter. This is going to be the Latitude 64 Opto Ice Pure. Usually the Opto Ice versions of their discs tend to be on the slightly more stable side, and I think Eagle will really like this for just laser beam, dead straight shots, turnovers, and the Pure can actually hold a hyzer as long as you don't throw a full power. The Pure can pretty much hold whatever angle you put it on, but obviously powered up shots, he's probably going to need something a little bit more stable. And that's where the Savior comes in, and it's labeled as a mid-range, but I see this as more of like an approach disc. I think Eagle would really like forehanding the Savior. It's got that very comfortable zone-like feel in hand, and then it's very, very stable. So this is a disc that he can lean into and essentially throw full power backhand and forehand, and he should have no problems with this disc, being able to handle the amount of torque that Eagle McMahon can put on the disc. The Savior is very overstable, and it's a very awesome and useful approach disc. So that's going to round up his putter lineup. I kept this in the bag pretty simple, but I think it would be a pretty good bag overall, not just for Eagle, but for most players. Now, the first mid-range that I think Eagle would really enjoy will be the Compass. The Compass can be used for dead straight shots, hyzer flip shots, turnover shots. Now, for players like you and I, people watching this video, most of us don't have elite arm speed. We're getting a pretty stable flight out of a brand new Compass. But someone like Eagle, again, he's throwing this on those hyzer flips, those turnover lines, and he's getting a lot more understable flight than, you and I would get. And for when the Compass isn't going to be quite stable enough, Eagle would really be able to lean into the Fugitive. This is something he can throw backhand and forehand. The Fugitives are very stable, especially in the Supreme plastic. So anytime he was concerned about the stability of the Compass, he could very easily throw the Supreme Fugitive. And I had several of these first run ones, and they are very, very stable. The next disc, Eagle's first fairway driver, is the Glory. I think the Glory is a disc that he would bag in multiple different plastics. This is a really great workhorse fairway driver, very kind of T-Bird-esque, but slightly more stable. But it's a disc that can truly handle pro-level power. You see players like Tristan Tanner, Silver Lat, Kristen Tatar, you see all these players being able to lean in and really throw the Glory extremely hard, and it can handle basically all of the torque that you can put on it. And I don't think Eagle needs a slew of different fairway drivers. I think he just needs different levels of wear and tear of one really awesome fairway driver, and I think the Glory fits right in that slot. Now, for when he wants something just absurdly overstable, I think that's where the first discontinued disc that I want to talk about today comes in. This is the Latitude 64 XXX. This is a very sought-after Latitude 64 disc that I think they would see a lot of success with if they came back out and re-released these again. Dave Feldberg really liked these. I believe Jesper Lundmark really liked these. And it's just an extremely overstable fairway driver. Again, the number's coming in at a 7.304. I think this is the perfect complement to the Glory. I think the Glory is something Eagle could throw relatively straight, maybe on baby flex shots, hyzer shots. And when Eagle really needs to work the spike hyzers, the super flexes, the forehands, the Triple X will be a really great complement to the Glory. Now, if he wants a little bit less stability and a little bit more distance in comparison to the Glory and the Triple X, the Striker is another very, very underrated Latitude 64 mold that I've been messing around with for the last few weeks now, maybe at least a month or so. And the Striker is a really fun and easy to throw fairway driver. I love how comfortable the 8-speed slot feels in the hand. It can handle a ton of torque. It's got a ton of glide, and this was a disc that was designed by Jesper Lundmark, one of the greatest European disc golf pros to ever play the game. So the Striker is going to round out the fairway driver lineup, and I think between the Glory, the Triple X, and the Striker, Eagle's going to have no problems throwing basically any shot shape. So we've got 3 distance drivers to round out this list, the first of which being the Latitude 64 Opto X Stiletto. The Stiletto is an absurdly overstable distance driver that only the fastest of arms can get away with throwing. And if Eagle needs to fully unleash a max power spike hyzer, this is the disc for the job. This disc is never going to turn, coming in at a 5 fade. These are so wildly overstable. I've thrown a Stiletto quite a bit over several year period. I've had a few Stilettos come in and out of my bag, and holy cow, these things are absolute pure beef. As far as max distance shots, 2 discs come to mind. We've got the Grand Orbit Rive. The Rives, brand new, are super stable, but I find that when players have fast enough arms to turn them over, they fly for absolute days, and they have a lot more glide than you would expect. And it takes a little bit of time to wear one in if you don't have a super fast arm. But if you do have a super fast arm, I've seen people throw these things really far. But it's one of those discs that you can truly only maximize on if you have a very fast arm, which obviously Eagle McMahon does. Now for the absolute maximum distance shots, we're looking at the Opto Ballista Pro. A brand new Ballista Pro, again, is very stable, but if you have varying wear and tears, or maybe you have a gold line, or maybe you have varying plastics of the Ballista Pro, I think this would be Eagle's workhorse distance driver right next to the Grand Orbit Rive. I think between these 2 discs, Eagle's distance needs are going to be completely under control. And I think with this entire lineup, Eagle's going to have no problems navigating basically any course. But anyway, I wanted to keep it short and sweet and simple. I had a lot of fun with my theoretical Lazat in the bag. There was a lot of people that said I was crazy, and then there was a lot of people that agreed with me. And I think we can kind of have a similar amount of fun with this video as well. So let me know what discs you think Eagle would bag, and also let me know if you think Eagle's going to leave Discmania, stay, and if you think he's going to leave, who is he going to go with? But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Comment down below, and take care.